Champions of Europe finally! History made in Istanbul! The treble complete! The greatest story in club history has ended! And what a final chapter!
Hello and welcome back to Typical City. Manchester City 3, Tottenham Hotspur 3. Frustrating is a word I could use. I'm pretty gutted about how that game panned out. Time to worry is the subject matter I think we need to talk about now. Is it time to really worry? I don't think so just yet. I do think it's certainly growing concerns. You know what I mean? I think there's a happy medium between, everything's sweet. We won the treble last year, so we'll win it this year. That's not logical. Let's call it for what it is. We're in bad form right now. We are in bad form. But we did win the treble last year. There's clear indications and evidence, historical evidence, that this team turns around situations like this. We've been in places like this before. We have been poor in moments like this. And we've turned it around. The Gundogan situation, the Aguero goal, the goals within certain games, last-minute winners away at Arsenal from Rodri, winners from Sterling against Southampton and Bournemouth, and last-minute winners. We turned things round. I don't think it's time to panic. There are definitely growing concerns, though, and I think we need to start with the chances that we're missing. Because I think Erling Haaland walked off that pitch, bashing shoulders with Lo Celso or whoever it was. I'm pretty sure it was Lo Celso, squaring up, screaming at the referee. He might have had a point, but I think his frustrations are being shown towards things that he can instantly take it out on. But deep down, his frustrations are going to be with those first half chance misses. That's where Erling Haaland's chances were spurned. He got one chance in the second half, and it was a half chance, a good cross from Jack Grealish. Dinked just a little bit overhit. Maybe Erling Haaland could have peeled away from the far post a little bit better. Other than that, there wasn't much to talk about for Erling Haaland in the second half. Big chances anyway. First half, that one that he smashed over the bar was the most... that was a bad one. That was really bad, because that's like, you just rush of blood, and it's like ballooned into Rosette. Really horrible finish. The first one is ugly as well, because it was such a big gaping hole. I said it in the live stream. Big gaping hole for him to aim at. Similar to the position where Odegaard received the ball for Arsenal in their second goal, which was a really well-worked goal from Arsenal, and Odegaard finished it off. It was almost identical positioning for that. The ball comes across him, and Odegaard guides it into that far corner. This time Erling Haaland guides it past the post. Those differences they add up over the course of the season, and we've got to kill this soon, and right now you can start to have a few concerns, because you draw to Chelsea and you go, okay, let's call that an anomaly, because I was calling it an anomaly. That's the exact word I used to describe that game. It's not looking like an anomaly anymore. It's looking like actual form. This is City right now. We're becoming a basketball team, end-to-end football, and being exposed at the back. You score, we score. You score, we score. We can't have that. We don't play like that. Go back to being boring, old, pragmatic, methodical, and inevitable Manchester City that just pass the opposition to death and bore them to death because they don't get the ball. I like that. We win. I'd prefer that all day long. Fuck this entertaining crap. Let's dribble and beat everybody. We're giving it away too many times, and we're being hit on the counter with ease. Now, with ease. And today, the frustrating thing is I was like, brilliant. Yeah, 3-2. We've clawed ourselves out of this situation. How Spurs are getting 2 goals, 3 goals in this game is beyond me, because it's just frustrating. But then you're thinking, right, their third goal, okay, Nathan Ake's on the pitch. Brilliant. And I've been going on about Nathan Ake. Nathan Ake has been brilliant this season, but he dropped one there. That's a moment where he's caught ball watching. And as a fullback, that situation, planting your feet, any defender will tell you the same. You don't plant your feet and wait for the cross to land on your head. If that ball wasn't a looping cross, it was a low trajectory. That cross was coming in flat towards him. He can run at that, jump and head it ahead of Kulusevski. Instead, he decides, right, this is an easy one. The easier thing to do is plant your feet, wait for the cross, and just wait for it to land on your head and clear it. Because he waited, Kulusevski gets in front of him. That's a defensive error for me, and I love Nathan Ake, and please don't mistake this as because a lot of mistakes seem to be taken. My words don't seem to be understood quite as well as I thought they. Well, I hoped they would be, because I seem to pick on players when they have a bad game, and therefore I'm now writing that player off eternally. They are be sent to hell, damnation, be gone with that player. No, he had a bad game. Rodri had a bad game the other night against RB Leipzig. And Ruben Diaz has had a bad game. I thought Ruben Diaz was bloody brilliant today. I thought he was really good. I thought he was good, Ruben Diaz. Maybe not brilliant, but good. Definitely more like the Ruben Diaz we've seen. Erling Haaland was missing chances, and I know I had to fend off certain comments to suggest that I have it in for Erling Haaland, and I do not have it in for Erling Haaland. No sane person would have it in for Erling Haaland and call him a bad player. No sane person would do that. Or anyone with a minuscule of football knowledge would write off Erling Haaland, because if you do, you're a fool. You are a fool. He had a bad day today. He missed big chances. We had 18 shots, 4 on target. 18 shots, 4 on target. They are the most basic, fundamental stats that any football fan in the world will go to and understand that's been wasteful. That ratio isn't good enough. That's a wasteful ratio. Too many have been not on target. You've got to test Vicario. 3 of the 4 went in. Do you know what I mean? And one of them was a bloody own goal, so we got gifted one of them. So, fuck's sake. And Spurs scoring 4 goals in a 6-goal thriller. It shows that we were missing chances, that we required Son to put one in for us. Frustrating. It really is frustrating. But by no stretch of the imagination should we be writing this team off. Can't we find some happy middle ground? And maybe, fuck it, who cares? I'm not in this game. I'm in this YouTube industry now to get clicks and to go to one end of the emotional spectrum to the other. Because I know there's YouTubers out there that are guaranteed clicks by doing that, by being mental and suggesting that one player has a bad game, that's it, they're the worst player in the world. Then they have a good game, this player's unstoppable, the best player in the world. Or a team loses a game, therefore they're getting relegated. An exaggeration, obviously, but that's what gets clicks. But can't we just be sensible and find some happy medium between? Certainly as City fans who've got evidence of turning things around and not getting into such horrible mentality where we just turn our back on the team. Don't turn your back on the team. You're not considered a City fan in my eyes if you turn your back on the team when we're not even at bloody Christmas yet. Do you know what I mean? Come on. I've seen there was a lot of people in the chat. There was a lot of people in the chat during the watch along that were writing City off. I mean, trolls, to be honest, has to be, because surely not. I've been ignoring the chat, but yeah, that refereeing decision as well is something I do want to get onto, gamers. Thanks for joining the chat. I saw you first. You wrote hell, but you meant hello. You were right the first time. Do you know what I mean? Good to see you anyway, mate. Hope you're doing all right. Wapang, you've changed your tune, mate. Oh, well, good. That's the right attitude, Wapang. Me first. Like Johnny, whatever happens, I'll support you and Man City, fine. But you weren't saying that in the watch-along, mate. But good to see you've changed your tune. We take the good with the bad, says Metal Rocks. Absolutely, mate. Got to have a bit of rain if you want the rainbow, as they say. Anthony, City haven't been firing on all cylinders, and when that happens, you have to ride your luck. Our luck, it seems, is in the toilet. A little bit. I mean, that decision at the end is something I do want to talk about, because I think people are now going to compare that to the Cucurella pull on Haaland and the Haaland pull on Rodri. They weren't the same, because both Cucurella and Haaland were rugby tackles. That was 2 hands. The comparison for me, and I said it in the watch-along, is the Alisson one. Because Akanji is the same player, except he's having a hand put on his shoulder this time. And the free kick was given for Alisson for a much less forceful movement from the defender or the attacker in Liverpool's case with Alisson. His hand was limp, Akanji. It rested on his shoulder, like just a little delicate, like rested it there, really gently. Free kick. Ruben Diaz's goal ruled out against Liverpool, which would therefore, we wouldn't be third, we'd be second if that hadn't happened. Obviously, that's just one of those decisions. But now to see it the following week where Akanji has Oliver Skipp puts his hand on his shoulder and pulls Akanji down, for me, if that was an isolated decision without the Alisson one, I would say that's not a penalty. But the fact that Alisson's is a free kick, you can't have rules for goalkeepers that don't apply to everybody else. You know, you can't have... They are a protected species goalkeeper. So I'm going back to a game that we're not even talking about today now. But that's what's pissed me off. That decision needs to be compared to the Alisson one, not the fucking Højlund one and the other one. William, appreciate the super chat, mate. Thank you very much. 8 points behind last season. Absolutely. The issue with points behind is the Club World Cup. Do you know what I mean? The Club World Cup's we're gonna be further behind after this, which is worrying because no one wants to be chasing. I know City are one of the best, certainly in the last decade, at hunting down teams with the lead. We often chase. Sometimes we're better when we're chasing. We've been top for quite a bit this season, haven't we? We're not used to it. We're like, what the fuck are we doing up here? What are we doing up here? You know what I mean? Well, let's get back down, second and third, have a bad couple of days at the office, have a couple of meetings, team meetings with Pep, and then we'll turn it round and we'll turn into an absolute blue juggernaut in the second half of the season that just demolishes anything that dares to stand in its path. Because that's what Manchester City do. You don't write them off. You don't write them off. You're a fool if you do. Honestly, you guys, I saw too much negativity. I didn't come into this game positively today. I didn't feel positive about it. The draw against Chelsea, the draw against Liverpool, that first half against RB Leipzig was worse than anything we've seen this season. That first half against RB Leipzig, we deserved to go 2-0 down with some shocking football in that first half, but we turned it round and I thought, okay, I thought at the time, that's papering over cracks. That's all that was, that victory against RB Leipzig, and the cracks showed their ugly head again today. Defensively, I thought Bernardo Silva, I've not said his name, I thought he was well off it, and who's heard me say that this season? Nobody. I can guarantee you, nobody's heard me say Bernardo Silva has had a bad game. But today, he has a bad game. It was not his prettiest performance. I thought he was struggling a little bit. They looked tired as well. It seemed to be on the hour mark. About an hour, maybe 65 minutes into the game, all of a sudden the tempo just died. Throughout the whole game, Spurs just could not get out, playing it out from the back. Poor. From Emerson Royal in particular was just a major weak spot in their build-up play that we could just zone in on him, nick it off him. The amount of chances that Haaland's open net miss came from Emerson Royal pissing about with it and Bernardo Silva putting it on a plate for him, and Haaland puts it wide. Emerson Royal gave it away about 3 or 4 more times after that, and you're thinking, punish them. Fucking punish them. Because if we punish them in the first half, we don't have this situation. You make that game 3-1 before half-time, we can come out, we can start knocking it about and playing our football without any fears of what could go on behind us, because you just keep the ball and play the usual, get that 2-goal lead and just knock it about. Play our usual game, possession-based football, make it ugly, make it boring. Who cares about entertaining the neutral? I don't care. I want to see City winning. I want to see City winning. That's more important. And to be as wasteful as we were with the chances, and then in the idea of playing out from the back, Spurs were so poor at it. But all of a sudden, about the hour mark, I was saying, we looked laboured, we looked knackered, and the minutes that we put into the game during midweek against RB Leipzig, they started to show. And Bernardo Silva in particular, who played pretty much the full game against RB Leipzig. Haaland played pretty much the full game. In fact, did he play the whole game? I can't remember who came off in that game. There was some substitutions in that RB Leipzig game, but the majority of the players that played midweek played today. And it showed that final 20 minutes or so, we looked knackered and we couldn't close them down quite as well as we were doing prior to that. And they were able to build up a lot better. And it became more of a possession-based game where we had the ball for 10, 15 passes. Spurs had the ball for 10, 15 passes. But that first half was just pure domination from City. We just dictated the play, and the only thing was, don't give it away because they're going to hit us on the break. And I said it in my preview, we had to watch out for Kulusevski, or in this case it was Brian Hill and Brennan Johnson on the wings. They're just going to stay wide and hope for that we make a mistake and ping it down those channels and hit us on the counter-attack. And it worked too easily. I think for their first goal, Doku needs to do more in that situation. He's not a defender, but it showed in that situation. It was clear that he was struggling in that situation. He misjudged the ball. You either go and meet the ball and clear it first time, or wait for the bounce and make sure you get it after that bounce. But he lets it bounce. He got caught in no man's land. It drifts past his body. Son is in. And he showed how quick Doku isn't. Do you know what I mean? He's not the quickest Doku. From a 10-yard burst with the ball, acceleration, frightening speed. But give him 50 yards to run into, he's not that quick, is he? Like Son seems to just burst past him. And Son is quick, of course. But those little pockets that Doku works in, that's where he's lethal, and his acceleration is incredible, but his top speed, he hits his ceiling of his top speed quite early, doesn't he? Anyway, I don't think it was entirely Doku's fault for them to be scoring, to give the ball away, for them to hit us so easily on the counter-attack like that, put Doku in that position in the first place. I thought our first goal obviously was just luck, to be honest. We've been playing reasonably well. Ball whipped in, Son dinking it into the far post for us. Thank you very much. You take them, don't you? Second goal, kind of like Arsenal's. The footwork that we were playing, the football was just sublime for that second goal. Really good. Doku was brilliant. His composure on the corner of the edge of the area, waited for Alvarez. The run wasn't tracked. Atrocious defending from Spurs. Alvarez cuts inside, splits right through the middle of Spurs' defence, receives the ball off Doku. Good ball from Doku. Alvarez on the turn, turns around in the 6-yard box. And if it isn't an indication of how bad Spurs were defending in that first half, Phil Foden in the 6-yard box has time to take a touch and then put it in the net. Do you know what I mean? That's how bad they were defending. And we were not punishing them. You've got to punish teams when they turn up to the Etihad, top 6 side like Spurs, turn up and play as poorly as that in a first half of 45 minutes. And you'd come away with 2-1. The chances we had, it should have been 3, maybe 4 by half time. It should have been. But you give them opportunities. You give them that belief that they can smell it. They were sniffing it. The belief was still there because they were always 1 goal away. And we've got to take them to the cleaners in future. We've got to be taking our chances. And Erling Haaland's chance misses has definitely cost us today. It's a shame to say it. There will come another day where I said I was hoping it would be today, but someone is going to get a spanking off Erling Haaland because all these chances that he's getting and missing right now, there will come a day where they all find the back of the net and we talk about another stupid performance from Erling Haaland where he scored 4, maybe 5 goals. You know, that day will come this season, and maybe that be the springboard, the catalyst to turn it round and go on a winning streak. Who knows? Maybe the FIFA Club World Cup could that be the injection that we need? Go and get a trophy and remind ourselves what this business is all about. We're in the trophy business. Let's go and win another trophy. Middle of the season, go and win a trophy. Come back with that winning feeling. Hopefully we fucking win the Club World Cup because the teams we're going up against, we should be destroying them. But you know, one day, it's one game. Anything can happen. So win that Club World Cup. Take that confidence. Come back. Take it into the second half of the Premier League. They'll be worried about us. They will be worried about us. As long as we can keep within 6, 8 points, don't let it get more than 9. As long as obviously you've got games in hand. We did it against Liverpool. We were 9 points behind Liverpool. And when they went and pissed it up the wall with Luis Suarez crying at Selhurst Park to make it 3-3. We've been here before. We've seen it with Arsenal fans celebrating their winning the league. Last season they thought they'd won the league. I mean, they threw it away horribly, didn't they? To the point where we didn't even need to try for the last 2 games of the Premier League season. It was already wrapped up. So, like I said, we've been here before. We have been here before. We came back from United. We were 8 points behind United in 2011, 2012. And then they go and get a 4-4 draw against Everton. City go away to Wolves and beat Wolves 2-1. Then away to Newcastle and we beat United and we beat QPR. It takes the smallest amount of games. We talk about 5 or 6 game period and the whole season could look completely different. So let's not write them off. My eye's starting to twitch from stress. It's getting to me. And Liverpool's result and Arsenal's result yesterday definitely set this tone for today's game. I had a bad feeling, but we didn't lose. I suppose that's a good thing if you want a silver lining, if there is a silver lining in this game. It doesn't feel like it. Again, throwing away a lead. We took the lead against Chelsea, took the lead against Liverpool, took the lead today. No, we didn't take the lead today at all, but we had a lead and we threw it away. Frustrating, but apologies for ignoring the chat. I'm pissed off. Sorry. Cool Cat, the atmosphere was good. Good. Were you there, mate? I hope it was good, mate. Big Morgan, this is on Pep. Why is that, mate? What did he do? What stood out to you that made you think Pep's to blame for this? Ed C, really need a new midfielder. And John, but today we're against 2 contenders, not 1. Do you mean the referee? Or, yeah, Villa match, mate. Madja, you're absolutely right. That Villa match is going to be grim. It's going to be grim. I'm not looking forward to that game at all. Spurs found that out. You know, they went away to Spurs and beat them. We've got to go to Villa Park, man. That's not a nice place to go. It's a good atmosphere when they're feeling good. The Villa fans, my most visited Premier League away ground that isn't the Etihad is Villa Park. I've gone there so many times. The atmosphere can be toxic for their own team when they're not playing well, but when they're playing well, it's a cauldron of noise that can be really positive and hard to get past. It's going to be a horrible atmosphere. Thoughts on Mark Goldbridge? He's all right. I think City fans hate him. I think you can't knock the guy for creating what he's created. His footballing opinions, I think, are dog shit. Are absolute dog shit. Some of them, in particular, his agenda against City. I find it funny how much he hates City. But as a man, he seems quite funny. I think he's quite a funny guy. I think he's done really, really well to do what he's done. And I mean, let's not pretend that he's not amassed an incredible following, and that shouldn't be looked at too lightly. Because let me tell you, there's millions of people who are trying to do it, and I'm one of them who's recently started this channel. And I can testify it's not easy to do all this stuff and amass subscribers. Like and subscribe, by the way, if you're new to the channel. But no, I actually think he's an all right guy, from what I can tell. I'd love to talk to him about football. Because I think he does talk a lot of shit about City, but that doesn't make him a bad guy. I haven't been impressed with Gvardiol at all, says Gregory. Lately, I've not been either, mate. I've been a little bit disappointed in his last 2 or 3 games. He wasn't so bad today, but I thought he was... Apparently, he was really struggling for Croatia in the international break as well, so maybe he's just finding his feet a little bit. It's gutted. I'm absolutely gutted. What's that, AK? We had an XG of 3.09 versus 0.56. I'm taking that 0.56 for Spurs. And they scored 3. That's insane. How many shots did they have? I can't remember. It was only about 4, wasn't it? Sorry, 8. 4 on target. 56% possession City had. That's quite low. Considering that first half, that's reasonably low. I thought we'd be much higher than that. That second half evened it up a little bit, because I think it did become a lot of end-to-end stuff. Adam Scanlon, honestly, Spurs played with a ton of tenacity. City missed a few critical chances, but played much better than the last few games. The first half, we played some good stuff, mate. I really agree with you there. We did. It is just a case of missed chances. Walker actually helped on defence today. Yeah, exactly. And I really didn't want to see him going down that right side too often. We didn't see that. He did tend to protect the back three, be part of the back three, and sometimes it was a back two. There was a couple of opportunities for them to counter-attack in the first half that Kyle Walker mopped up. That's his bread and butter. That's his home. I don't want to see him marauding down the right wing. Kyle Walker's not a creative player. He can't cross the ball. His touch is okay. His ability to build a network of passes is okay. But are we going for okay? Like, we're better than okay. We want more than okay. Let's play everyone to their strengths. You know, Kyle Walker's strengths is defending with speed and power and anti-counter-attacking football, like preventing them. You know, that's his game. And he's won us so many points by doing that. And I'm happy to see him go back into that position. But it didn't stop them scoring 3, did it? So still, we are conceding goals. 4 against Chelsea, 2 against RB Leipzig, 3 against Spurs. I don't know what the average goal rate, but the last 4 goals, we're conceding 2 or 3 a game now. I mean, obviously 1 against Liverpool, which isn't bad because it's Liverpool. But, I mean, still, you think Doku has an injury. That's not good. Big M, to be fair, Gary Neville was actually right. The players got too complacent at 2-1 in the second half. We need a consistent 90 minutes. I didn't hear what Gary Neville said, mate, to be honest. But sounds about right. Complacency definitely seemed to be part of our play in that second half. Because... Again, I keep saying so many halves. Why do we have to be a team? Can't we just play the full 90 minutes and stop being a team of 2 halves? Every game this season has been like big chunks of the game. Big dirty chunks of this game has been shite. Like 30 minutes of just below our standard. And I think today was a lot of energy levels. And it's a simple excuse to give. It might sound salty. Don't give a shit. That's what I saw. I saw the tempo really drop in that final 20 minutes from City. They looked knackered. Midweek, Spurs obviously had nothing to worry about midweek. And that's another thing as well. That's another thing. We've got to factor in that Liverpool have got Europa League to worry about. That's going to burden them. United are potentially going to have Europa League as well, which obviously doesn't affect us in the title race. But these things affect you. Newcastle have got problems because of the squad. And these things over the long course of the season, they impact you. Arsenal in the Champions League, how far are they going to go in the Champions League? How much is their attention going to shift to the Champions League? Because they're playing well, Arsenal, so is it going to shift? Are you going to start having to pick a lane? Or are you going to try and split your resources evenly to a Champions League and to a Premier League title and end up with neither as a result? Do Arsenal have the firepower to go the full length of the season, challenging on multiple fronts? Because there's only one club in the world that can really, really do that. Right, in England, certainly one in England. I mean, your Real Madrids and Bayern Munichs can do it because certainly Bayern Munich, because of their respective leagues. But in terms of City, in the Premier League, there is only one club that can challenge on all fronts. And we have the firepower to do it. We've proven that. The only issue is, have we lost a little bit of firepower in Gundogan and Mahrez? Those two players now, have they been replaced? I'd say Doku has certainly levelled it up a little bit. I think his return. Want to see Nunes, who's... I don't think we should sleep on Nunes, you know. I don't think he's finished as a City player by any stretch of the imagination. He's only just started. But I have seen a lot of negativity towards him. But I think there's a player in there. There is a player in there. Kovacic, to me, the question mark is getting bigger. It's a bigger question mark. I want to see more from him. He obviously came on for a very ineffectual amount of time today. So he couldn't really do anything today, Kovacic. But still, over the course of the whole season, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more from him. Injuries have obviously played a part, but Gvardiol as well. The transfers, 3 of the 4. One's injured. The other 2 have been okay. You know what I mean? Okay. And Doku has definitely been worth every penny so far, hasn't he? But yeah, maybe. Maja, City's double pivot against Villa will be Stones and Akanji. Obviously, Rodri's out as well. That Villa game's a killer now, isn't it? Didn't someone else get a yellow card? Jack Grealish is out, I believe, for the Villa game. Which, whether that would have been a thing or not, whether he wanted to. I don't know. John's wanking himself silly. There you can see. Everyone get the Kleenex out for John. City have finished. 115 charges. Yeah, mate. Finished in 3rd. It's over. They'll never learn, will they, these rival fans? But you've got to let the babies sometimes have their bottles. Do you know what I mean? You sometimes have to let them have their bottles because they'll go hungry otherwise. And we've been starving our rival fans of anything lately to have a go at us about because we won everything last season, pretty much everything. So they've been hungry to having a go at City. So let John the baby have his bottle in the chat. City have finished. Yeah, I'm sure they are, mate. But yeah. 3-3 today is by no stretch of the imagination a disastrous result because it's a Spurs side. They're a decent side. It's not a disaster. It's not a good result though. It is it's probably bad. It's not at the end of the world. We are still 3rd, 3 points behind. Perfect. Another perfect result for Arsenal, who seem to be getting their way at the minute with plenty of things going their way. Getting a little bit of luck, maybe not. I'm not sure. I think they deserve to beat Wolves, and considering their first half against Wolves was brilliant. They ripped them to shreds. Second half, they didn't impress me that much. They should have taken Wolves to the cleaners and allowed the game to the point where Arsenal are hanging on and wasting time at the end of the game. Liverpool, did they impress me today against Fulham? Not really. 3-2 down, having to come back and win the game 4-3. So you only need to look at our rivals to suggest that they're not firing on all cylinders either. We're all sort of like bit of hit and miss. Arsenal deserve to be top, rightly so. The football they've played has been a touch better than everybody else. The fact that they beat us alone is a fact that they deserve to be where they are. But we've got to play them again, so we'll see you at the Etihad. We'll see you at the Etihad, and we'll see what else we can do throughout the course of the season, because 3 points is absolutely nothing to worry about. It's one game of football, and the whole season feels very, very different again. So come on, Blues. There's no need to write City off. Certainly not after draws. Do you know what I mean? We're not losing these games. The last 4 games, you could say undefeated in 4. You know, you could put a positive spin on it if you really wanted to. Undefeated in 4. Doesn't sound that bad, does it? But when you consider the fact that it was 4-4, 1-1 and 3-3, the fact that the one game we win, we conceded 2 in the process, defensively, we've got to shore up. We've got to get more solid at the back. Really gutted. If you could drop a like on the stream, please do. Even if you're a rival fan and you hate my guts and you hate Manchester City, all you have to do is pop a little like on the video, because you've had your fillings today getting a good laugh at City. So pop a like on the stream and give us a help. Blues, please drop a like as well. Really does help the channel. Fear not. You know, that's the ultimate message I think we need to take away from today, is it's not the end of the season. You know, let's not panic too much. There's plenty of football yet to be played, plenty of form to start changing. You know, this will turn on its head eventually. But Wapang is... Buggin's getting one last thing. Wapang's pissed some people off today. Oh, it's funny. Anyway, Blues, don't feel too bad. We're going to win our next game against Villa. Come on, we'll do it. We'll do it. We'll beat Villa and all will be forgotten. We'll beat Villa. We'll do it. Come on, City. Let's get back into winning ways. But thank you very much for joining for the match reaction. Please drop a like on your way out of the stream. It really does help. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.